Hey everybody, JC here, getting ready to go to the Kroger Marketplace Shopping Center on North Park Drive. Gonna do some actual Smart Summon sessions over there, and then maybe head over to my wife's family restaurant boba shop area, and then head home and just see how Tesla FSD does during all this. So let's get going. And we're off. Come up to the stop sign here, put on our blinker so that we can turn right. Come to a complete and total 0 mile per hour NHTSA stop. Very smooth right turn. Acknowledge that there was no oncoming traffic at the time, so not a lot of complexity, but still very smooth nonetheless. No lane markings on this road as of yet, so we're basically, as we've always done, kind of going down the middle. Now we'll get some lane markings as we go by the high school, and there we go. We nestle ourselves into the right lane. It is about 4:30 in the afternoon here on Tuesday afternoon, early evening, so school is already out, so we do not have an active school zone to test it out on right now, but that's okay. Still a bunch of kids at the school, obviously there for after school activities, but all of the busing and pickup activities are done. All right. Got a young pedestrian to the right on the sidewalk leaving school. Get up here and put on our blinker to turn right on the North Park Drive, right behind this FedEx truck. Beautiful day. It's about 78 degrees, no clouds, brilliant sun. Yeah, this time of year is really good from a weather perspective here in Southeast Texas. We pay for it in the summer, don't get me wrong, but the October, November, December time frame is just absolutely fantastic. All right, we're making our right turn onto North Park, very smooth. Stayed within our lane. Smooth turn. Generally speaking, quite a few cars both to the left and to the right of North Park that are trying to either get across North Park or get onto North Park themselves. So you always have to have your head on a swivel and be a little bit more cautious as you're driving through here. As you can see, the car is waiting there. Coming up on a traffic light, and we're going to get stopped. There we go. Yes, just a gorgeous day. Got the sunlight coming right into the front windshield right now. So I do have my sunglasses on. And we'll just see how Tesla full self-driving Supervised handles that. Sometimes with direct sunlight coming right into the windshield and a combination of wearing your sunglasses, I can get nagged a little bit, but we'll just see. Again, and as I've said on previous videos, that's mainly due to the in-cabin camera being dialed up to 11 right now because we've gone to hands-free. So I completely understand that. And there we go. Got a little bit of a nag, but that's fine. I mean, literally the sun was just piercing right into the front camera, and I've got sunglasses on, so quite all right. Eventually they'll be able to dial down the camera a little bit. I mean, eventually they'll go to unsupervised, but right now, while we're still in the supervised mode, they need to monitor the supervisor, which is me. All right, we're continuing to progress along North Park here. Got some road construction to the left, and we're about to have road construction on both sides. Here we go. They've deviated the road a bit because of the road construction. We handle that well. Got some uneven lanes and obviously very narrow lanes with no sides to them. But again, we're handling that very well. Yeah, so we're just gonna go over to the Kroger shopping center, which isn't very far. In fact, we're only about a half mile away. So not a lot of FSD driving today. I've been going to the Woodlands quite a bit to see my brother-in-law, but he's actually going to get discharged this Thursday. So I will have that final trip over to the Woodlands for that. But no big drives needed for today other than to go to Kroger. And like I said, we might go to my wife's family restaurant. So a little bit of a drive there, but mainly going over to Kroger just to get a few things. And then while I'm there, like I always like to do at these larger shopping centers, is let's go ahead and do some actual smart summon while we're there. And I like to do actual smart summon for a handful of reasons. Obviously, number one is to see how the actual smart summon is actually doing with each new software update. But then secondly, just for other folks to see the technology. They get to see it up close and personal. You know, I live in a part of the Houston metro area, in a part of Texas where there aren't a lot of Teslas. And so obviously if there aren't a lot of Teslas, there aren't a lot of EVs just in general. And so, you know, a lot of folks have never even been in a Tesla and have seen how they operate. So it gives folks, you know, at the shopping centers a chance to take a look at it, ask questions. So get into a lot of good conversations with it. So it's really a good conversation starter. All right, taking a right turn here, very, very narrow with road construction to the right. We handle that very well. Smooth turn. Yeah, so we got road construction to both sides, very narrow lanes. We're gonna take a left turn into the shopping center here. So we get over out of the way of the traffic behind us. Take our left turn. A little bit of a dip there. It's kind of hard to avoid. All right, we're about to go into the Kroger parking lot. Got a stop sign here. Got a four-way stop. Hey, there's a Tesla. I see a Model Y. All right, progressing on through. We're at the Kroger. So we'll just see now it has gotten us to the Kroger parking lot. So let's just see what it does while we're in the parking lot. Did not park us there. We got a truck coming out of nowhere. We handle that well. All right, it's going to circle back around. We're clear. Come back up another lane. Slowing down a little bit. I'll slow down a little more as this vehicle pulls out. All right, we move over to the right just a skosh. Looks like we're going to go back over to the left, but we got a vehicle there that didn't know what they wanted to do. All right. I'm going to give it one more lane here just to see. All right. Comes up to the stop. Got a future customer of Kroger walking in. And another customer waiting there. So she's going to continue to wait. Let's see what we do here. Yeah, I'm just seeing what it does in parking lots right now. It's really just kind of a... It's kind of an analysis of what's going on with it. Again, it's already gotten us to Kroger. So, we get around that double parked car very well. Great job. Technically not supposed to be parked right there. All right, we come to a stop as we're supposed to, even though I don't see any. Oh, there we go. There's one coming through. Gives us a wave for letting him through. You're absolutely welcome. Got some more customers coming out. She gives us a wave. You're absolutely welcome. And we should progress on through now. So let's just see what it does. I'm going to give it another shot. So it's not going down another lane. It's like, okay, I gave you 2 lanes. Let me just see what it's playing. It's going to let that car. All right. It's kind of deciding. There we go. Okay, we're still in the Kroger parking lot. We're just going. All right, now it's going to park us. It parked us. But again, number one, not the best parking job in the world. We're right on the, I mean, it's trying, but it got us right on the line. And not exactly the greatest selection either. There were plenty of parking spots up front, and it came around to the pharmacy and parked us where no other cars are. Although I will tell you, I know a lot of folks in the Tesla universe, this probably would be the spot they would pick. They don't want absolutely anybody near their Tesla. So quite frankly, for some of my friends in the Tesla universe, this would be a good spot for them. It just needs to park a little better. All right, well, I'm going to go repark. Go into Kroger real quick just to get a few. I've only got to get a few things. This is a quick one. I won't even need a cart. And then I'm going to do some actual Smart Summon sessions. All right. I will see you in well, actually, you won't see me in a little bit. In a little bit, in about 5 seconds here, you will see the Tesla doing actual Smart Summon. And then I will see you after those sessions. Bye. right, everybody. Just got done at Kroger. Picked up a couple of things and also did 3 sessions of actual smart summon. They all went really well. My Tesla came back to me with 0 dents. On each occasion. So instead of counting 0 interventions for FSD, you go 0 dent. I'm obviously being tongue-in-cheek there, but I'll have to roll back the video just to see if there were any interesting reactions. But now we're going to head over to my wife's family Vietnamese restaurant, get a little something to eat, and see how Tesla full self-driving supervised does. Let's go. All right, we're pulling out of the parking lot. This is a 2-way, as you can see. Or a 2-way lane in the parking lot, I should say. All right, we're gotta come to a stop, come take a left. Actually, there wasn't a stop sign there, I'm sorry. We did come to a stop, but there was no stop sign. Now there's a stop sign. So we come to a stop, we have the right of way. Whoo, this one is going to be interesting. So it wants to go across North Park and take a left. I don't know if this is gonna happen. This is going to be interesting. All right, we got road construction to the left and to the right, and it wants to go across. I just don't know if this is gonna happen. This is, my gosh. Well, right. Man, okay, that was aggressive. And it did it, but wow, that was through road construction. Man, we got a big old truck to the right of us too that's just blocking everything. I am highly surprised that we were able to do that with the oncoming traffic on the other side. All right, we got to, let's let that truck through. All right. Oh Lord, oh Lord. All right, and then we get back over quick because we had to kind of get over in that truck's lane in order. Wow. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you'd have told me I had to take 10,000 bucks out and put it down on whether I intervene or not, I would have put my 10,000 down on intervene and lost every single dime. That was impressive. When I saw it wanted to cross over North Park to go left instead of just doing a right and do a box around, oh, wow. Wow. And with that huge semi to the right that we then had to get over into their lane in order to complete the left turn. I mean, there are most adult drivers probably would not attempt that. Most adult drivers in this area might have just gone ahead and taken the extra 5 minutes and done a box around the neighborhood. Wow. All right, we kind of got caught. Oh, wow. Okay, well, never mind. We didn't get caught. Jesus Christ, I'm just going to shut the hell up. Wow. I mean, I don't really have much more commentary on those last 2 moves other than wow. Yeah, that was just an absolutely incredible A+ human driver type of maneuver. That wasn't even an adult driver. That was like a 5-star Uber black limo type driver maneuver, to have the confidence to get onto the other side of North Park the way that Tesla FSD just did. And I'm on 12.5.4.2. I'm not even on the latest version of this thing. Wow. All right, so we are, like I said, we are headed to my wife's family restaurant where they cook, prepare, and sell various Vietnamese dishes, including pho, banh mi, fried rice, and a lot of other things I can't pronounce. And then they do bobas as well. And it's in the Atascocita area, and it's called Sweet Escape. And it's a great place. So if you're ever in Humble, Atascocita, Texas, go on by Sweet Escape. Get yourself a boba. All right. We're continuing to progress along North Park Drive here. We're going to be on here for about 1.5 miles and then take a right on Westlake Houston Parkway. I'm still just getting over, or I haven't gotten over, how it got to the other side of North Park like that. I mean, that was everything. It was confidence. It was definitely aggressive. I mean, because the dance it had to play with that semi truck to the right of us was, wow, really good. Really, really good. I'm telling you, folks, this software is, this neural net, it's learning. It's getting really good. Don't get me wrong, it's still got things it still needs to learn. I mean, you already saw going to Kroger, it didn't park me very well. It found a parking spot, but it didn't, you know, necessarily park it. But then it'll do things like that. It'll do 5-star Uber driver. I don't even know if a 5-star Uber driver might attempt that. I mean, that is, whew. Yeah, and let me just be blunt. The fact that it was that confident and aggressive, it, no doubt in my mind, saved 5 minutes from the drive. And that's at the low end. That depends on how much traffic was on the feeder that we would have had to get on had we taken a right out of the shopping center parking lot instead of just going right to the jugular and say, hell no, hell no. We are going across North Park. Sit there, shut your mouth, and let me do what I do. Let me cook. And she shut my mouth. That's for damn sure. Well, no, she didn't. I'm here yapping my mouth, obviously. So she didn't shut my mouth, but she definitely impressed me. All right, we got another about another half mile here on North Park, and then we would still be trying to get back onto North Park right now. I know I haven't gotten over it yet. That was just so impressive. All right, we're probably going to need to start getting over to the right here, although the amount of times I want to second guess her right now is pretty slim. But we do need to be getting over to the right here fairly soon. And there we go. She waited till she was good and ready. And then when we get up to the traffic light up here, we'll take a right on Westlake Houston Parkway. Get in the queue. All right, well, now that we have a little bit of time, obviously that was a pretty quick full self-driving drive, FSD drive to the Kroger Marketplace parking lot. Well, let me get through this right turn real quick. All right, well, it's protected. This should be good. Let's see. Oh, that car just did some curb rash on themselves, that Jeep. I don't know if y'all saw that hit the curb. We did not. Let me, got some flashing yellows. We maintain speed all the way throughout. You know, I don't even need my sunglasses now. Okay. Take those off. There we go. So, yeah, so now that we have a little bit of time while we're on the way to the restaurant, and again, long-time listeners, you can close your ears if you want. You've heard this spiel, but I want to do it. It's something I like to do with every video. So I am on Tesla Full Self-Driving Supervised. I am on version 12.5.4.2, which, as I said before, is not the latest version, 12.5.6.3. Oh, we got a car pulled out right in front of us. Looks like they've pulled out in front of cars before, judging by their rear end, but Tesla FSD handled that perfectly. They may have been looking for something. Yeah, when cars do that, sometimes I wonder if they're looking to upgrade. Sorry, Mr. Toyota Camry. You're going to have to drive that thing another day with Tesla FSD on the road. Anywho, yeah, so I am, the latest version is 12.5.6.3. That has not gone out to wide release at this point. That is pretty much to just the early access group, as well as maybe 2 or 3% of the fleet, existing fleet out there, that generally speaking are on the front end of getting these. I am usually not on the front end. I'm somewhere in the middle, generally. Somewhere in the middle to the latter half. And I've pontificated before on why. I think there's two main reasons why I don't get it in the early part, and I'm usually almost sometimes a laggard. One of the reasons is easy, is that I have not been driving Tesla full self-driving for as long as a lot of other people have. So there's folks in our group that have been using this for over 4 years, 4+ years. And I just joined the Tesla community last year. So I bought my first Tesla back in April of 2023. And then I got FSD very shortly thereafter. Probably, gosh, that was maybe the May, June time frame. So I've been using FSD for about 1.5 years now. But like I said, there's folks that have been using it 4+ years. So that part, quite understandable, is that you want to get it to the folks that have been testing it the longest, know the most about it. Now, that being said, at this point, I would put my miles on FSD up against just about anybody. Well, let me take that back. Omar, there ain't no way in hell I'm even close to him. But, you know, other than Omar, who goes by the handle Holmar's blog, and let me just give him a shout out. Not that he needs one. I've got a following about the size of Splendora, Texas. His is about the size of San Antonio, Texas. So not like he needs a shout out from me, but you know, he's the whole reason I'm even in the Tesla community. The reason I bought a Tesla, why I used, you know, went out on, you know, out there and used FSD. I always tell people about 3 or 4 years ago, probably about 3 years ago, I had a couple of bad pieces of pizza and a beer, and I don't know how, but his videos got into my algorithm, and I started watching them, and the rest is history. I got hoodwinked by some skater kid in San Francisco. What the hell? that socialist influence from that commie California. No, I'm joking. But yeah. So I am not in that group. I've only been in it for a year and a half, so that part of it's understandable. The second part that I think is understandable as well, and a lot of you will recognize it, is I have like almost all of my drives, and I go everywhere around Houston, are either 0 intervention drives or maybe 1 intervention, and that 1 intervention is always something related to like simple comfort, like taking a courtesy gap or just helping it accelerate for a quick second through something. So when I do my FSD videos, I almost rarely talk about not like critical interventions or even non-critical interventions. I talk about nuanced stuff like feeling, like how did it feel on your left elbow when you made that right turn? Oh, it could have been a little bit better. My elbow, felt a little tingle, and I really don't want to feel that tingle. Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of stuff I'm hearing in my area of the world. So, quite frankly, I'm at a point now where I'm not even testing this software because it's just that good for my geographic area. And so I could see where Tesla would say, well, shit, why do I want to get it to JC? Excuse me, sorry about my language there, but shoot, why do I want it to get it to JC so early, right? When I've got folks, there are folks on X and YouTube who comment and tell me, I have 20 interventions a day. It's like, well, get it to those folks then. Like the people that are having problems in certain geographic areas, get it to them quick. Because they need help. If they're having 20 interventions a day, get it to them. Because I'm having 0 to 1. So if you need to get it to me last, get it to me last. I'm fine with that. Because I would, like I said before, I'd rather be on the next to last version and enjoy these 0 intervention drives than get the latest and greatest and be pulling my hair out due to 20 interventions. I will say this again. I'd kind of like those people to put some full videos up, like do a full, like raw 1X everything. Just let the camera go and let us see it. Because I'd if you're having 20 to 25 interventions a day, and I'm not being tongue in cheek there. I have people comment to me like, your video's full of crap. I had 20 interventions within 5 miles. I'm like, well, I'm sorry to hear that. My video is what it is. I just let the camera roll. You see it, right? That one and this one. So it is what it is. I mean, I'm sorry. There ain't anything I can do about Tesla being so damn good where I live, or so darn good where I live. I apologize. Put a video out there for me so I can watch it and see what the differences are. They never do. So I don't know what else to say to them. I'll watch their videos if they put them out there for me. Or they'll just slice out one specific part and say, see what it did? I'm like, well, okay, but what about the other 59 minutes you were out there? Like, okay, but like, show me the other, like, it couldn't be, like, if you're having 20 interventions, they can't be back to back to back to back to back. They got to be over an hour and a half long period. So put it all out there, but they just never do. No, I shouldn't say that. There are a few that are like true blue, like will even go live and do it that way. And I respect that. If you're putting it all out there and you're putting the raw video out there for people to see, or going live, doing it through a live stream, I have 100% respect for those folks. And if it's showing you having 20 interventions, then so be it. Let's get a crackerjack squad of Tesla AI folks to your city and just figure that crap out, because something's wrong. And it may be we need to go to your city planners and say, yeah, what were your folks smoking 30 years ago when y'all created these intersections? that nobody else in the country seems to be having a problem with. So, wow, that person was getting real close. I don't know what the hell they're doing. They're getting a little impatient. That Chevy Impala right there was coming over into the lane. I don't know what they were. They're getting a little impatient. But as you can see, nowhere to go. We just continue to matriculate through. Got a yellow light there, but we made it through. We got in there while it was still yellow. Well, I guess that Chevy Impala wasn't impatient. They just couldn't stay in their lane. We need to put some FSD on that Chevy Impala. Yeah. So that's where I am at. That is a long-winded way of saying I'm on the next to last version, and I hope to get 12.5.6.3 or whichever version is available at that point. Hope to get it soon. But as we speak, I'm on 12.5.4.2. But man, it's been great. It's just been outstanding. And I use it on a scale of 0 to 10. I use it at 11.5. I use all the bells and whistles on FSD, and I run actual smart summon ragged. I run the damn thing ragged. If there's anybody, if you got questions about actual smart summon, text me, because I'm pretty doggone sure, other than maybe a handful of nerds up in Palo Alto who get paid to run the thing ragged, I've probably done more actual smart summon than any person in North America. I'm getting pretty close to 100 sessions at this point. And like I said, I do it because I enjoy it. I love watching the technology. I love that aspect. I know that that is eventually what's going to keep getting branched out and become the robo-taxi. So let's put it that way. I like using the first iteration of Tesla's Cybercab / robo-taxi technology. And that's the way I look at it. And then secondly, yeah, just to let folks that aren't as familiar with Tesla or autonomy or robotics to get a glimpse of it, get a glimpse of a real world robot maneuvering around the physical world right in front of you, right around you, allowing you to walk in front of it, allowing you to peek inside and talk to it, and say nice things to it, and say bad things to it, and watch it do nothing for now. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, and sometimes it'll prompt conversations in the parking lot. Like I think I've said on a couple of other videos or some of my posts, is I've come to first name basis with some security guards and cart guys out at Costco and Sam's Club and HEBs. That was my very first time at that Kroger there on North Park. So yeah, just trying to switch it up. That's about the 5th different shopping center that I've used. That's the first time I've used the Kroger marketplace there at North Park and 59 East Tex Freeway. I've really worn out the HEBs around here quite a bit. They're just getting too easy. So until Tesla updates this and expands the radius and lets me do some more stuff with it, the HEBs are just too easy. I go to Sam's every once in a while. Sam's, I would like the radius to get a little bit bigger before I really stress test it there. And the reason why I need the radius to get bigger is Sam's is basically like a college campus. I don't know about where y'all live, but you know, the Costco, and I go to Costco too. Costco's gotten easy. I try to go, and this isn't a macroeconomic comment, so I am not an economist. Take this as far as you want, but I've taken I've taken the Tesla out to Costco on Saturday and Sunday afternoons at 2 or 3, and it's still easy for it. It's easy peasy. And I think part of it's because the parking lots just aren't as jam-packed as they once were. And like I said, that's probably more of a macroeconomic comment than it is a technology comment. So take that for what it's worth. Let's get those parking lots packed again. That's what I say. Whoever's got the policy, the folks in charge of policy, whoever you are, on both sides of the aisle, let's get those Costco and Sam's Club parking lots packed again. I've had people comment on my actual Smart Summon videos and like, well, that's not that hard. That's, the parking lot's only 60% full. And I'll respond back to them. I'm like, brother, I'm out here at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. It can't get more packed than this. So maybe we need to change the policies. And then I'll get crickets back from them. So I'm assuming they did not want policy changes. But again, I'll leave it where it is. I'm talking completely neutral. I'm talking to both sides of the aisle. Let's get those parking lots packed again with shoppers at Costco and Sam's Club so that I can just wrangle the neck out of this actual Smart Summon, and that the folks that are commenting to me that I'm not stress testing it enough, then I can stress test it more. I don't get the sense that was the response they wanted back from me, because I never heard back from them again. But I'm doing everything I can to it, people. I'm doing everything that the macroeconomic environment will allow me to do. But I need you, and I'm talking to the Republicans and the Democrats alike up there in Washington, D.C. I need you to get the Costco and Sam's Club parking lots packed again. That's on you. That ain't on me or Tesla. That's on y'all. Make Costco packed again. MCPA. That sounded too much like the CCP, so let's leave that one alone. Yeah, throw that one out. Never mind. But I love the technology. And so, yeah, I did it 3 more times today. Like I said, I'd have to go back and go back through all my footage, the stuff I shared and the stuff that went to this, whatnot. But I got to be getting close to 100. It's a lot. And so I made a joke on X when Ashok said that we've had nearly 1 million uses of actual Smart Summon. I texted out, I said, I made the earnings call. Oh, man. It's like, I'm pretty sure I'm about 1% of that myself. But I love it, and I've had no issues with it. Don't get me wrong, out of the humongous amount of times I've used it, I would say 2 or 3 times, 3 at the most, has it done something that was like a snafu. And what I mean by a snafu is like it went the wrong way down a one-way lane in the parking lot. It did that a couple of times, but then it was able to course correct itself. But still, that's a snafu. You should not be going the wrong way down a one-way, even if there's 2 ways up and all throughout the rest of the parking lot. What other snafu did it do? Really, that's it. I mean, it stopped a little too early a couple of times, but that wasn't a snafu. That was my fault, because I was actually standing on a public road, and it's not allowed to go out on public roads yet. So that wasn't a actual Smart Summon snap. So yeah, it's really about 2. So 2 times it went the wrong way down a one-way. And like I said, that's out of nearly 100 times. And when I say 100, it could be as low as 70 or as high as 100. So somewhere in that 70 to 100 range. So don't like put a gun to my head and say, well, you said 100. Well, okay, maybe 83 or something like that. But it's a lot. It's more than you. I'm just joking. Oh man, yeah, I try to be nice. All right, we're about a quarter mile from my wife's restaurant. So let's just see, number one, how we do getting into the parking lot. Will it take us into the parking lot? This one's been a difficult one for some reason, but will it take us into the parking lot? And then secondly, what does it do after it takes us into the parking lot? All right. So we're behind the Jiffy Lube. We do not need to go to the Jiffy Lube. Nope, we don't need to go to the Oh, good job. All right, you figured out we don't need to go to the Jiffy Lube. But what are you going to do after that? You going to course correct here? Can you correct yourself? Okay, I had to give it a little bit. Now we're already in the parking lot, so I did that, and it looked like it was about to go to the Jiffy Lube, but I do not need to go to the Jiffy Lube, which is part of the same office park, as you can see. All right, oh, it's gonna park us again. Let's see how you do on this one. Let's see how you do on this one. You know what? Let me just see something here. Nah, it's done. Okay, I was wondering if it was. So this one is better than the one at Kroger. But, so let's see. It still fits with this parking lot. So it got us to the parking lot. So this whole office park shares a parking lot. So you got Jiffy Lube at the front end. You got the cleaners at that end. And my wife's restaurant is in the middle. So it got into the parking lot, and then it acted like it wanted to go into one of the bays at Jiffy Lube. They can't do anything for you. And so, but fortunately, it corrected itself, if you saw there. So it corrected itself, and it came to this part of the parking lot. But then the parking job, not the greatest. So, well, like I said, we are not feature complete yet, but parking lot to parking lot is perfect. And you saw, man, it did just some of the amazing things it did on North Park. All right, well, I'm going to go inside, get myself some dinner, say hello to the wife and to the mother-in-law, watch them work feverishly while I sit on my big butt and eat. And then we'll get back in here and go back home. All right, everybody. Talk to y'all soon. Bye. All right, everybody. Just got done eating dinner. Now it's time to go home. Let's go. Pulling out of the parking lot. It's going to take a left instead of a right. That's fine. Either way. Take a right here out of the parking lot onto Will Clayton, and then an immediate right onto Aerobic Drive. Got a stoplight with other cars on the opposite end taking their left, so we obviously need to wait for them. Still coming. Creep up a little bit, let them get through, and we should be good now. And here we go. Smooth turn. It is almost 6:30. Excuse me, it is almost 6:30 in the evening here. So as you can see, we have lost all semblance of daylight. Absolutely zero, nada, zilch, nothing. Pitch black. Yeah, I'll be glad when all this daylight saving stuff is over. Of course, we're going into the winter where it's even going to get shorter and shorter. So the days will just get shorter and shorter, and it'll be pitch black by 5. Excuse me. Stopped for the 4-way stop there, but nobody else at the intersection, so we progress on through. Got some cars coming. There, we got a truck pulling out. We handle that well. Slow down a little bit to let them in. We'll be turning left here on Westlake Houston Parkway. We got the green light, but gotta wait in the queue here. Hopefully we can make it through. Let's see. I think we will. There we go. Make a very smooth left turn, stay in our lane. Great job. Now we are on Westlake Houston Parkway, and we will be here for the next 6 miles. We'll go through the rest of Atascocita, into Humble a little bit, and then into Kingwood, and finally Porter, where I live. Yeah, the area we're driving through right now is called Atascocita. It's actually part of Humble, but it's just the the neighborhood is Atascocita, but they've over the years just basically nicknamed the entire area here Atascocita, even though technically it's not its own city or town, but still basically known as it's technically Humble. Anywho, all right, slowing down a bit. Man, is the traffic backed up this far? Wow. Well, it is that time of night. Like I said, 6:30. Oh, it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. All right, we move on up. There we go. Oh yeah, had a nice little dinner with my wife, some of the workers there at the restaurant. Good stuff. Had a banh mi. That's my favorite. Is chicken banh mi with a little avocado. All those vegetables that they put in there, half of them, don't ask me. I just eat it. Don't ask me what. I know it's good. It's fresh and it's good. But I couldn't pronounce the name of a lot of the stuff that goes in there if you force me to. Fresh French bread. Oof, man. That's just a perfect creation right there. The banh mi sandwich. Oh my Lord. All right, starting to progress back through. Got the green light. We'll see if we get to keep it. Pretty long queue here, so I don't know. Nah, it doesn't look like we're gonna keep it. So it's like we're gonna have to sit here for another installment. No big whoop. We're at the corner of Westlake Houston Parkway and FM 1960. And lots of road construction going on around here. They're actually building, if you can see up ahead of us, they've got the main 1960 traffic. And it looks like they've already got cars. Did they already have 1960 going that way? I see cars up there. Okay. I rarely ever drive that part of 1960, so I'm gonna have to try that out one of these days. Looks like there's vehicles driving, unless those were work trucks. But I thought I saw vehicles up there. Could have been work trucks. Sorry, I'm not as talkative now. I've got a full tummy. My system's having to digest right now, so. There we go. We got the green light. Continue to press our way through. Starting to speed up a little bit. We're going 39 and actually going 40 now. 40 and a 35, so that's perfect. Perfect. Going along with traffic with the car in front of us. Got another car equidistant behind us. Chevy Silverado. He's got the full package on that one too. Stoplight here at Kings Parkway. That goes into the Kings River section of Kingwood, so we're just about to cross over from the Humble Atascocita area into the Kingwood, Texas area. Okay, somebody's honking at somebody. We are now in Kingwood. And this is a nice little bedroom community here in the northeast section of the greater Houston metro area. Kingwood has been in existence, I want to say, since the 60s or 70s. It was really one of the first major suburbs of Houston when Houston really started growing back in the 60s and the 70s, and people from other parts of the country started coming to the Sun Belt, you know, because for the longest period of time nobody internally migrated to Texas or just about anywhere in the South. Obviously there's some terrible historical reasons for that, but aside from that, it just, the economy wasn't, you know, there was a point in time where this part of the country was like a third world, you know, country. You know, it really took after the Depression and the approach to trying to build some infrastructure, specifically the TVA and a bunch of other projects around the southern part of the country. That's where it started growing. And then in the 60s and 70s, we actually started having some internal migration towards Texas. And I can remember in the it was like mid to late 70s, when I was a young child, I remember it's like all of a sudden I started meeting a whole bunch of people from Michigan. I was like, man, it's like every 10th person I meet in Houston or Southeast Texas is from Detroit, Michigan. What's going on? What's going on in Detroit? Well, we all know what was happening. Because unfortunately, that was kind of the first iteration of legacy auto getting hit in the kneecaps. And ended up, hurting a lot of people in the Detroit area and pretty much all over Michigan. And so I remember we had just a ton of folks that came here from, it's funny too. Well, it's not funny. It's just it's an interesting fact. And I love it. I mean, a lot of my friends are children. Their parents were the ones that came here from Detroit. But it is funny. Even as bad as the Detroit Lions have been historically, they have a rabid fan base. And so when you go to a Texans game, if the Detroit Lions are in town, I swear to God, if you ever want to know which cities are seeing the most internal migration, go to like a Houston Texans game. And especially when they're playing the Detroit Lions, which unfortunately happened earlier this week. But I swear to God, it's like half the stadium's Detroit Lions. And it's not like I'm sure their fan base travels, but it's like, no, it's people that grew up in Houston. It's just their parents came here from Michigan and they're just salt of the earth, die-hard, blue-collar, hard-working people. And they brought their values with them. They brought their love of where they came from, and part of that love was their Detroit Lions and Detroit Tigers. And so you'll see that in Houston quite a bit. You'll see a lot of Lions jerseys at the stadium. So they're true blue Texans until the Lions come to town. And then it's like, this was my daddy's team. So I totally get all that. I totally get it, and I love it. It's what made Houston great. I mean, if it weren't for that, we'd still be a city of about 800,000 people. Instead, we're about 8 million. And the vast, vast majority of that now are the families who have internally migrated here over the last 50 to 60 years. Yeah. And the other one that's interesting is when the Chicago Bears come to town. My gosh, there's tons of people from Chicago here. Or I should say, maybe not Chicago itself, but that area. Anywhere where there would be a Bears fan. And man, I tell you what, they show up hard in packs. But again, all great. And I got friends in that group too. I shouldn't say much because I'm a Cowboys fan. So one might even say I should be going to, but I think I've said this probably a long, long time ago, but I tried to explain football in the state of Texas to folks, specifically as it relates to the NFL. So if you're a fan of the NFL, if you're, grew up on a team or whatnot, the way I can best explain it is when I was growing up in the 1970s, you could draw a circle around the city of Houston. And the radius of that circle be about 50 miles. So like, let's say it's 100 miles across, and just draw a circle, 100-mile circle around Houston. Everybody in that circle was going to be a die-hard Houston Oilers fan. Love You Blue, Bum Phillips, Earl Campbell, Dan Pastorini, all of those guys. And the Oilers were really good back then too. They were always knocking on the door. The only bad part The hard part for the Oilers back then is that they were in the same conference with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And anybody that knows the history of the NFL, back in the 1970s, the Pittsburgh Steelers were they were the best. They were the team of that decade. The Cowboys tried to claim it from them every once in a while, but I'll be the first to admit, it was the Steelers decade, and then probably the Cowboys and the Raiders could lay claim to being runners up. But yeah, so you draw a circle around Houston, and that was die-hard love you blue. And the other thing they all shared in common is they hated the Cowboys. Hated. Like, nobody hates the Dallas Cowboys. And I'll even say this to my my Philadelphia Eagles fans. You think Eagles fans hate Cowboys? Nobody hates the Cowboys more than an OG Houstonian. Somebody that's been here since the beginning of the Houston Oilers franchise. They hate the Cowboys. Now, on the other hand, you go outside of that 100-mile circle to the rest of the state of Texas, and that's pretty much all Cowboys country. So, interesting. I grew up in Beaumont, Texas, which is much closer to Houston than it is to Dallas. So, Beaumont, depending on where you're standing, either in Beaumont or Houston, let's just say it's about 100 miles. So Beaumont is about 100 miles east of, and pretty much due east. So like if you get on I-10 going out of, you leave downtown Houston on I-10, about 100 miles later, you'll be in Beaumont. Ain't a lot to it, but you'll be there. And so I grew up about 100 miles from Houston, and probably 200 to 250 miles south of Dallas. So I was much closer to Houston, but it doesn't work that way. And the big reason it didn't work that way was because of Roger Staubach and Tom Landry and Tony Dorsett and Randy the Manster White, Too Tall Jones, Jethro Pugh, Cliff Harris, Charlie Waters, Everson Walls, Billy Joe Dupree, Drew Pearson, Tony Hill. Do I need to go on? Can you tell I'm a Cowboys fan that became one in the 1970s as a little boy because of Roger Staubach? Yep. So yeah, I was one of those kids that grew up watching Roger Staubach do his thing every Sunday afternoon, and I was just enamored. He was my childhood hero. I had a lunch pail with him on it, number 12. I had pencils and Big Chief pads, and I would have the Cowboy star and the number 12 on it. I had Roger Staubach pajamas. I had a little kid's play football uniform that my mom got me that was Cowboys with number 12 on it. So that was me. And yeah, so, but I would venture a guess, if you talk to most guys my age that were born and raised in the state of Texas, and that area of Texas they were born and raised in is outside of that 100-mile circle I told you about around Houston, I'd bet a lot of money that they're a Dallas Cowboys fan. But I take that same money and give me a guy born in that circle, and I'm telling you what, he was love you blue. Billy White Shoes Johnson, like I said, Earl Campbell, Dan Pastorini, Mike Renfro. Obviously, Coach Bum Phillips. Old Coach Bum. Good times, man. It was a good time to grow up. 1970s and early 80s was a great time to be a little kid. All right, now I'm really going off. That's how good FSD is. I'm like, let me tell you about what it's like growing up in the 70s. Your parents kicked you out of the house at 7 a.m. You got on your bike, you met up with all your buddies, and for the next 12 hours, you were literally off the grid. I mean, you could have been kidnapped by Barbary Coast pirates. And as long as you were home for dinner at 7:30, your parents didn't give a crap. Yeah, there was none of that helicopter parenting back in the 70s. No internet, at least not for us. I know that technically the internet existed in the 70s, but it was like, you know, a handful of people in Palo Alto and Washington, D.C. and whatnot. Al Gore, he had the internet. But we didn't. No phones, no cell phones. Yeah, that was it. You said you would tell somebody, be at this place at 3:30 p.m. And if that person wasn't there at that place, that was it. I mean, y'all might just never see each other again. There was no texting. There was no group text like, where you at? No, there was none of that. It was just, you know, yeah, it was, you were off the grid, baby. You were off the grid. We'll pull up here in a little bit and we will end this FSD drive. All right. All right, well, that all went really, really good. I'm trying to think back. I don't think we had any interventions. We obviously had no critical interventions, obviously, none. But I'm trying to think if we had any comfort interventions during that drive, and I can't recall any. Yeah, I'll look back, but I think these were all zero intervention drives. Did 3 actual smart summon sessions. And then as far as like once we got into the, so when I talk interventions, I'm talking parking lot to parking lot. So I know I let it, you know, try to see what it does when it's in the parking lot, but technically, you know, I know we're not all there yet, but I think it tried to park us at the grocery store. Not a great job. Tried to park us at the boba shop. Not a great job. But it did try to park us both times. So that was good. Tried to go in the Jiffy Lube too. So that wasn't good. So that's a little snafu. All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming along with me and being part of this FSD journey today. And like I always say, I'll see you again, maybe tomorrow. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.